Hi guys, busy work day, my full-time job. Now on to the second thing. I have my second day tonight of my tiny challenge with my current students. We're going to go over today angles and composition. I have some of my props and stuff set up that I'm going to be using. We're going to talk about 5 different angles and about 4 different compositions that I always result to when I'm taking photos. I got my live Zoom and the session starts in about 3 minutes. So just want to check in and have a great day. Busy work day, my full-time job. Now on to the second thing. I have my second day tonight. Let me actually join on here too. All right, now here's where you. Recording in progress. Hello? Hello?
Hi, Monique.
Hey there. How are you?
Good. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Can't complain.
Good.
Can't complain.
Good.
My screen is dirty. Ugh.
Let me turn my TV. I'm sorry. I got the TV going in the background. There.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Did you get a chance to see those pictures I sent you yesterday?
See them. Let me see if I could check it.
I sent them to the email.
Let's see. I got pictures. Yeah, I got Rochelle's pictures yesterday. And
Hi.
let's see. Yeah, I didn't get yours, Miss Lenny.
Go sit down. Leave me alone. Go
All
chill.
right. I'll try to resend them again.
Okay. Yeah, that's strange. I don't see them. All right, yeah, that's weird. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking, I don't see them. Okay.
All right. I'll resend them.
So we're just missing, who we missing?
Rochelle.
Okay. All right, so Miss Lenise, you sent me pictures from yesterday's session?
I mean, there were some that I had in my phone, and so some of them were taken with natural light and some were taken with the artificial lights. I just wanted to get your take on them. I mean,
Okay.
it's the same cake, but just different poses of it and everything.
Yep.
So let me see where I sent them at. Hold on, I'll tell you. I might have sent them to the wrong thing. Let me see if I can find it on my phone. Where I sent it. Let's see. No, not that one. I sent them to Gotta Have Cake Dessert Photography at Gotta Have Cake at d.kajabi mail.
Oh, okay. I see where you're sending them. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't think I have an inbox on the Kajabi, but it's info, INFO.
Wait, hold on, let me write it down,
Put it in the chat.
please.
Let's see.
Okay.
That's probably why I'm not getting it.
That's probably why.
So I'm gonna send my photos now too as well.
Okay.
I was looking for an email with a phone number or something, and I was like, did I miss it last night?
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. And I was like, okay, what am I doing?
You put it in the chat? Okay, I see it.
Okay.
Info at. Okay.
All right. I think Miss Rochelle is just joining, but when she comes in, I will go ahead and start. Hopefully everybody had a great day so far today. Mine was busy.
Yeah, man, I just got home like maybe 20 minutes ago.
Wow.
So yeah.
So you ready to turn in for the day. Hey, Miss Rochelle. All right. So let's go ahead and get started.
I just sent them again.
Okay.
So sending it now.
All right.
Hi, Rochelle.
Hi there.
All right. Let me share this screen. Okay, great. There we go. All right. So we are on day number 2. I did receive Rochelle's pictures, and I know Miss Diane and Miss Lenise just sent theirs. So I will take a look at them. Can you see my screen? Nope, you can't. Okay, let me see.
Yes.
We can see it.
You can see it.
I don't think
Liz.
it's not, yeah, it's not working. Let me go back because I'm actually changing the screen and I just noticed it didn't change. So let me try that again. Same thing that happened yesterday, which is so weird. Okay, let's see. Sharing is paused. Why is it showing? Yeah. Share. There we go. All right. All right, so there we go. All right, so for homework, I received Miss Rochelle's pictures. Listen, Miss Lenise and Diane, I know your photos will be coming because you just sent them to me. So I will take a look at those. But maybe I should have put in my email. I'll add this to the slides. But you can email me your photos or you can text it to me at this number here. It's 571-719-7516. All right. All right. And based off of yesterday's session, what worked best for you? Was it natural light or the artificial lights?
So I did both. I took the same picture, one with I put it at the window, and I did it with the natural light, and then I did one with the overhead light on. And I think the natural light is a little bit better for me.
Mhm.
Didn't have as much shadows as the one with the overhead light.
Okay, good. That's good. How about you, Miss Lenise?
I didn't get a chance to take any pictures. I did buy I bought some muffins though, and I bought some cranberry muffins, and I bought some dry cranberries so that I could try to decorate around with it.
Okay.
But I haven't had a chance to take the pictures yet because I was real busy today. But I did go to the store this morning.
No worries, no worries. How about you, Miss Rochelle?
Well, it was dark by the time I got a chance to do it. So the natural light is, I'm sorry, artificial light is what I sent.
Yeah.
I can, when I looked at them, I can say that probably can be a little softer.
Mhm.
The light was bright because again, I was like kind of right under the light.
Mhm.
So the light can be a little softer. So the diffuser would work well if I decided to use that light. And instead of having the harshness like we talked about yesterday, it'd be a little
Mhm.
softer on the picture just to use like a diffuser really like kind of over the top since the light is right
Right.
down on it.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. All right. All right, so today we're going to follow back into the fingerprint method, which was yesterday we went over lighting. Today we're going to tackle two at the same time because they actually kind of go hand in hand. So it's we're going to be intentional with the composition. We're going to attract or draw rather the viewer's eye to the product. And we're also going to talk about the angles and which angles work the best to showcase the features of your product. So that is what we're going to cover today. So first, let's start with composition and angles. I kind of mentioned it yesterday about composition, but in general, composition is how you arrange your elements onto your surface, whatever surface you're using to take photos on. And you're going to arrange your products according to a way that's going to be very attractive to the viewer's eye. When you combine the right angles with the different types of composition, you would definitely get a beautiful image that will stop the scroll. If somebody's on social media, that's going to stop the scroll, or just make people say, "Oh, wow, that's actually kind of cute. That looks good. Let me keep looking at this profile, see what else they have." And so that's what we want. We want them to love the product so much that they want to buy. The goal is to attract them with our imagery. So that's the goal. But outside of lighting, which is number one, and then composition and angles they're both combined, is going to help you have that polished professional look. So we're going to go into some more details about these two things. All right. So there is a feature on your phone, and it is called the rule of thirds. Have anyone heard of this before?
No.
No? All right, that's perfectly fine. So you've definitely seen it a whole lot. Basically what the rule of thirds is, and it is a feature that is on your phone as well. So we'll do a demonstration of this. But what it is as you see in this image here, there's two vertical lines and there's two horizontal lines. And the rule of thirds is that the eye, remember yesterday I talked about shooting things in odd numbers, filling to the eye because you have a focus point. I'll take it a step further with the rule of thirds. You have intersect, you have two lines going vertical, two lines going horizontal. If you place your main subject either on either of the vertical lines or either on the horizontal lines, that also creates a very appealing image.
So directly on the line?
Yes, yes. Or if you can't get it directly on the line, as close to the line as possible. So in this particular image, you see, I don't even know what that little thing, I'm gonna point my mouse here. This little thing here,
Mm-hmm.
you see how it is on this left line?
Right.
Actually, we got a lot of composition here. So we have this thing on the left line, but another rule of thirds is you can also, if you don't want to put it on the line, you could put it at the intersection points. So here's an intersection point, here's another point, here's another point, and here's another point. Okay, so here, not only does she have it on the left vertical line, she also has a point. And immediately when I looked at this image, my eyes went straight here to this front little whatever, I don't even know what that is, but it went there. To show you what that looks like on your phone, let me see if I have that.
So I have an Android phone. Are those lines on my Android phone?
Yep,
Yes.
it should be a guide on your
Yeah,
phone.
because they're on mine.
Yep,
Okay.
there you go.
But I got a light, but yeah, they're on mine because I have an Android as well.
Okay, good. See?
Oh, okay. I'm
Okay.
gonna look for it.
So camera.
And this is what it looks like. Let me see if I can cover this. You see those? Do you see that line?
Mm-hmm.
That is your rule of thirds.
Okay.
Now you can turn it off or on. I like to leave the guide on while I'm taking photos. Now, sometimes I purposely try to make my main subject, which is the item in the front from yesterday's example, that cupcake in the front, I try to either put it on one of those intersecting points or either on one of the lines. And it's just another method to make your photos pop. It's not a rule that you have to follow, but it helps you get your, you know how sometimes every picture that you take can look boring because everything is always in the center, or everything is always in the center. Your main product is always in the center. If you notice from yesterday, we did the little V shape with the cupcakes.
Mm-hmm.
We had the main cupcake in the front and then the two on the back. Those two cupcakes were actually on both of one of the cupcakes was on one vertical line, the other was on the other vertical line. Close to it, not exactly on it, but close enough to it.
Mm-hmm.
That creates a different look to your photos versus just having everything lined up in one single row. It helps you come up with a styling of setting up your product. Okay. And those are called the rule of thirds. Is there any questions with that? I know that's a new technique or new concept. And
Hey, close the door so it doesn't go up, please.
when you're taking your images, your photos, I don't want you to stress over the grids at all. I just know that the guide is there, and it is
called the grid lines.
I'm not sure what it's called on the Android, but it is called grid on the Apple.
All right, I'm gonna turn that on because I see that's off on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try it. All right, we'll see.
Yep. So.
Oh yeah, it is. It's the grid lines.
Yep. Okay. So the key to remember here is you don't make yourself frustrated because you're trying to get it directly on the line. Just use it as a guide. As long as it is close enough to either one of the lines and or the point.
Also, I'll be back in like an hour.
All right. Along on the points, then you're good. Okay. So also if you I'll try to find an example because it'll be easier for me to show you. But this line right here, the the horizontal line here. If you ever noticed or looked at an image and you said something about this image is off, it looks a little crooked. This line, this guide right here can help determine if your photos are actually crooked, if it's leaning or not. Especially if you ever had like a photo. Let me see if I have an example on my phone. I'm just going to use the one I took yesterday. So say, for example, this picture that we took yesterday, if I had my rule of thirds on, you see this line, let's see. You see this line right here, where my backdrop meets the bottom surface, where the backdrop meets the bottom surface. You can see like this little line here. All right. A lot of people don't pay that any attention, but that can really throw your image off. Say, for example, if I was holding my cell phone, but it was a little slanted, then this line, actually, here's a good example. You see this down here? That's the bottom of my table top. And you see how it's crooked. If I were to use the rule of thirds, that rule of third line is straight. And if I wanted to make sure that my image was straight, what I could do is just put that rule of third line, just kind of use it as a guide to place back here. And it will tell me if my image is crooked or not, because the rule of third line will always remain straight. However, the backdrop will look a little crooked. So I could either correct that during editing or just correct it by holding my phone up the right way. Not like this. Hold it up the right way. I hope that made sense. Okay. All right. Any questions with the rule of thirds? And I'm gonna do a demonstration of all of these things. Okay. All right, let's see. Did I skip? Yep, I did, sorry. Clicking too fast. Okay, the next thing we're gonna talk about is our leading lines. Out of all of the composition techniques I'm gonna show you tonight, the one that I really, really like to use is the rule of thirds. The rest of these I'm going to share with you are nice to know. You don't have to do it, but it definitely gives your image a different look and different vibe. For example, leading lines, what happens with leading lines is that it guides the viewer's eyes directly to the product. So for example, with this ice cream cone, you see how the sprinkles are going inside of the ice cream cone. That tells a story, believe it or not. I'm either saying, okay, either somebody dropped the cone and the sprinkles went out that way, or if I'm doing stop animation, it looks like the sprinkles are going inside of the cone, and I'm going to scoop some ice cream on top. So depending on who's looking at your image can determine what's going on with this picture. This is called leading lines because those sprinkles are leading my eyes directly to the cone. So this is perfect for when you want to draw the user's eye directly to the product. I like using this technique, for example, if I had like a cake and I could do the same effect here. If I had like a cake and I'm just trying to do like a different composition style, I can sprinkle some sprinkles onto my surface that's going to leave a trail directly to the cake. And it's just the way it brings interest to the cake versus just having a cake sitting there. Okay, we see plenty of cakes just sitting there, just doing nothing, just boring. But if you add a little interest to the scene with this composition, that it's appealing to the eye. It's different. Same thing with cookie crumbs. If you bake fresh cookies, like chocolate chip cookies, or even taking some of the chocolate chip morsels, and you can lead a trail directly to the stack of cookies. So it's just a different way of using smaller items to lead to the main subject.
And this is when the subject is like flat on the surface.
Not necessarily. This technique is perfect for flat lay. It is, but it can work for all types of stuff. There's times where let's say, for example, someone was shooting a pasta dish.
Mhm.
They can use because when you think pasta, you're gonna use napkins because sometimes it's messy. So they can actually roll up the napkin, make it a little long, but it's going to lead me to the plate of pasta.
Mm.
Or even their forks. Their fork, the actual part that you eat is actually inside of the dish itself.
Okay.
So it leads my eye to the product, but it's telling a story. Like if I see a napkin, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's pasta, the napkin, that makes sense because we're about to eat the pasta. Of course, with pasta, you might have a fork and a spoon right by the dish because I want to eat it. So it's instead of just having a bowl of pasta, you're going to use leading lines to create a different story, and of course with the different props to help tell the story of that plate of pasta. Or like I like to use the example of let's say candle, like a candle. If I'm taking a picture of a candle, I can use the matches, I can use the little wick cutter, and I can just place those all on the side of the candle, but everything is pointing towards the candle. Okay. Negative space. This was an image I did a couple of fall seasons ago. Negative space allows you to, let me move this out the way. Okay. Negative space allows you to take a picture with a lot of empty space up here, but it also allows you to leave text, like I did here in this example. So without this text box being here, you will see all of this space between the main product and all of this space that is remaining between the top of the picture to my product. That's called negative space. And this is a good technique when you're trying to advertise your product. So for example, if I was selling this cupcake for for fall, for sunflowers, I could put, have the picture of my cake. I have a little staging here in the image, and I could say, order your cupcakes, your sunflowers, special sunflower cupcakes for the fall season. Visit the website, blah, 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 for more information or anything like that. But that negative space allows you to still capture the beautiful image and then also leaves you enough real estate to add some text. So that's called negative space. I love using that technique, especially when you're trying to advertise for your product. One of my pet peeves that I see a lot, and sorry if you do this, but is when people are advertising for their cakes or their products, they have one picture like this, but they have a picture here, they have a picture here, have a picture here. It's just too much. Like you're not allowing the viewer to just focus on one image at a time. Instead, you're putting like 5 or 6 different products on one page, and it's, for me, it confuses your ideal client because it's like, okay, I have so many options. Which one do I choose? Versus taking time to create one flyer for this one particular product and tell me a little something about this product. Because here I can see that, wow, that is a beautiful cupcake. That buttercream looks great. I wonder what flavor that is. It makes you ask a lot. It makes you ask a lot of questions, and it builds curiosity to where your ideal client would want to go ahead and probably buy this. Versus if I was selling or chocolate covered Oreos, chocolate covered strawberries, cupcakes, and pretzel rods, and all types of stuff on one page. It's like, okay, now is this a bundle? Now, what if it wasn't a bundle, but because you have everything on one page, it looks like a bundle? So the communication, how you communicate through imagery, is very important. Okay. So if all possible, and plus it gives you a polished look because every product is on its own photo. It gives you a polished look, and it gives you more marketing material to use. So maybe one day, okay, maybe on Monday I say, get ready for my fall special. Stay tuned this whole week as I introduce each of the products. And I do this like 3 weeks out before I want to sell it. And this builds anticipation from the client side. And I can always have my order form or wait list available, ready for them to go ahead and just, based off of this one cupcake image, they're interested, they want to buy it, send them directly to my website, they can go ahead and start placing the order. On my website, I will have all of my items photographed with the description and whatever ready for them to see. But on my social media, I'm just going to introduce one of the images at a time because I don't want to overwhelm my audience, my customers. So I hope that makes sense too. Excuse me. All right, so visual balance. This is y'all, this is a full class that I recorded. It's how to take photos of your dessert shooters. I did not release this class yet. And this class has been recorded for, I want to say I did it last summer. It's been a year. I didn't record it. I didn't release it yet, but this was one of the pictures that I took during that course. And visual balance is when you're creating, which basically what you're doing on one side, you want to do on the other side. It doesn't have to be the same product, but you see here, I have the bowl of raspberries here. And then on this side, I have a napkin. It's balanced. Now, if I didn't have a napkin here, it wouldn't be so bad because I have the little raspberries here. But it looks complete because it's balanced. It doesn't look like one side is missing something. And the same for this previous photo here. I have the cupcake in the front and that is the main subject, but in the back, I have this tall vase of sunflowers. And then I have this plate with the napkin. So the sunflower vase is tall, but the plate in the sunflower napkin is short, but it's balanced because I have one thing on one side and one thing on the other side. It's not too much going on. It's just enough. Okay, so that is called visual balance. Okay, and this also works with if you did not have any props, that's totally fine because you can also create visual balance with textures. So instead of having this backdrop here all white, I chose to use a textured tile backdrop on a white surface on the bottom. So instead of white and white, I did visual balance by having a different texture at the top and a different texture at the bottom. That's also creating your visual balance as well. Okay. Now this is a technique I love. It's called fill the frame. This is perfect for when you are in a rush, but you want to get a good photo. And you can't really tell on this image, but these cupcakes are in the plastic container that I packaged them in. I just love the vibrancy of these cupcakes. And I said, oh my gosh, I don't have time, but I do want to get a photo. So what I did, set these cupcakes right by the window, got my phone, and I literally filled the frame. Let's see if I could, I want to show you exactly what this image looks like full. There we go. So as you can see, this whole image is, and notice I'm in Canva. Notice what pops up when I'm moving this. What is that? Those lines.
We don't see it.
Oh, you don't see it.
We don't see anything moving.
Okay.
Diana's like, what?
All right,
Look on Diana's face. It's like, wait, what we look? What's moving?
Like I don't have my glasses on, so I'm like, wait, am I missing something?
Oh, good. All right, there we go.
Okay.
So I backed out of the presentation to go in Canva, but this is the whole image. But look what popped up when I'm moving this. What are those lines that we just talked about?
Rule of third.
Rule of third.
Yes. So if I wanted to get creative with this, I can just say, okay, I want to just focus on these two rows. So now I have, with the rule of thirds, I have the left vertical line and the right vertical line. And then notice almost those horizontal lines are somewhat hitting each of those cupcakes as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Or I want to say I can't move it up and down. Nope, can't move it up and down. But still, even if I wanted to move it to the left, to the right, notice how if I put it here, those vertical lines aren't directly on the cupcake, but it's close enough. Okay, so that's your rule of third as well. Yeah. All right, let me see if I can go back and share this. And hopefully, okay, let me stop. And go back. This thing is being really picky. There we go. All right. All right, so This technique also works perfect for when you for people that are doing flat. This is obviously a flat lay. Well, this is a flat lay image. This works perfect for flat lay products when you want to fill the frame. Fill the frame is that you're not leaving anything, no negative space. You can't see anything else but the product. This works perfectly when everything is uniform. So notice how each of those pink little swirls are all going in the same direction.
Mhm.
Everything is uniform. This is when this technique works the best, when everything is uniform. I love to see when sugar cookie artists do their sugar cookies and they have their cookies laying on a flat lay, and it's maybe they'll have a design of a heart, unicorns, rainbow, heart, unicorn. It's like a pattern, it's uniform. And then when they take the picture, you just see just the cookies most times. Unless they're staging like with beads or whatever else around the cookies. But for the most part, they're using the fill the frame technique, which is very, very, very cool. So this is a technique that I love to resort to when I'm in a rush. Because I know I can get a good picture with the fill the frame technique for sure.
Yeah, that's what I usually do for my cupcakes too. That's pretty much I usually get like the best pictures when I do it like that to take cupcakes.
Absolutely. I love it. All right. So those are the compositions. Again, the top one that I like to use is the rule of thirds, which with the vertical and horizontal lines. The other ones that we discussed, they're nice to know. You don't have to do all of these at all, but it gives you some variety if you did want to switch it up. So we have any questions with compositions before we go into angles? No? Okay. All right. So angle number 1, this is the most popular angle that you will 9 times out of 10 always use, and it's called the 90-degree. I like to call it just a straight on. If I'm looking at something straight on, it's just right here and I'm just looking at it, right? So that is called your 90-degree. It works with any and everything. And so it's best for products with, you're trying to show like the front of the product, items that have the logo, like for this example, this is a cupcake that says Happy Valentine's Day. And when you want to show the portion size of the product. And this actual picture I did was it this year? I can't remember. But this backdrop was actually a piece of square thing that I bought from Hobby Lobby, and I just made it into a backdrop. But it's the editing that got me looking like I have a full rose backdrop for this one little cupcake, but it's not. But
that's what I was going to ask you about, because I was like, oh, that's cute, because it's like kind of faded out, but you can still see it.
Yeah,
so
I use
that's in editing.
I use portrait mode, which gives you the bokeh effect. That's the blurred background. That's a feature. I know on the iPhone. I know I'm quite sure Android has the same feature.
Yes, we do.
Okay, perfect. So yes, and Lauren, I can go grab this backdrop real quick. Hold on.
Or we have the what mode on the Android?
Portrait.
I'm in portrait mode. And then how do we make it fuzzy? But is it already? Oh,
I think it does it automatically when you take the picture.
All right. Yeah. So when we get into props, I'll be sharing more things like this, but this is it.
Oh, that's cute.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
saw
a
it.
Wall. It's like a
I
rose
saw
wall.
it at Hobby Lobby. And for some reason I didn't pick it up. I don't know why. I was in Hobby.
Oh, yeah,
again,
that's
I'm always
cute.
in Hobby Lobby looking at things, and then I'm like, "Ooh, I'm gonna get that." And then,
Go
life
back
be
and
life,
get
and
it,
I'll forget.
Rochelle. Go back and get it.
I'm gonna go get it. Well, it probably won't be out again until. But what I did see though, they do have a square that just looks like grass.
Look, I'm glad you mentioned. Hold on.
Oh,
yeah, because that's what they make the rose walls or the grass walls out of.
Yeah, because usually the grass walls are like 12 by 12 tiles that you put together.
Right.
and that's what I was saying. I was like,
yeah, they don't really
if they're
come in
like that,
a
I probably
big.
would zip tie them together.
Mhm.
Yeah, see,
Yes.
yeah, Hobby Lobby, they have the one, and I was like, I was zip tied together to make a larger one,
Yep.
you know.
And it also
But
comes in a roll too, a roll.
Oh,
okay,
okay.
I use the roll as a centerpiece for my dining room table as my
Uh-huh.
that's my run.
Okay.
Yep, but yeah,
Ah,
this is it.
okay, yeah, because I saw the grass.
Yep. And then I know we're not talking about props, but I love this too.
Oh, the
What is that?
fake eggs.
Yep.
I don't have fake eggs.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So if you wanted to stage for, actually, I think I have a picture in here. It's coming up. I don't, wait, is it eggs in that picture? I can't remember, but yes. So we'll get into props when we
Okay.
talk about that, but it's so much, and everything is very inexpensive. Like I said, we're going so off topic, y'all. I'm so sorry, but when I shop for props, what I have in mind is how can I repurpose this multiple times, because I don't want to waste my money to buy
Mhm.
one
Right.
thing.
One thing. Okay.
Mhm.
This is perfect for Mother's Day, graduation, anniversary, Valentine's Day. Even I would use this for 4th of July, because you don't really have to know these are roses. I can even blur that background even more and just make it like this. You see the
Textured thing.
different colors in this. You have the dark.
Mhm.
This would be beautiful for 4th of July. Something for 4th of July that I'm trying to promote. Perfect. So when I buy for multiple things. Christmas.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's how I like to tell my students to shop. Shop with
Intention.
intention, and how can I use this to repurpose? And not only that, I use these for photos, but also when I'm decorating my dining room kitchen table.
Mhm.
Multi-purpose.
Multi-purpose. That's it. And we don't even sit at that table just for decorations anyway. So I said, hey, perfect. Okay. All right. So sorry about that. My daughter's looking at me like I'm crazy. All right. Now, this is the second angle, which is the 45-degree. Another technique that I absolutely love, because it tells me or shows me the top and the sides or the front of the product at the same time. So this is why this technique is also a very popular one, because I get to see a little bit more about the product, especially like in this case, I'm using Valentine's Day cupcakes. I have the
The little lip.
mustache in the lips, and then I have the intricate cutting of the wrapper.
Right.
Now for this particular shoot, I shot it with an iPhone. The buttercream was not this color. It was actually, but the buttercream in real life was white. But by the time I took the picture with my smartphone, it turned it yellow, that the whole color grading. But so I had to go in Lightroom and make it white again. So when I did this photo, I did the 45-degree angle, and I also did the 90-degree angle, because I also wanted to get like just a straight on shot of the details of the cupcake cutter, the shape.
Right.
That's another good technique for, so 9 times out of 10 for desserts, you're always going to resort to 90-degree angle, and you're also going to resort to 45-degree angle for sure.
It's funny. This answers a question I was going to ask regarding lighting. I was going to ask if you mostly just shoot on a white bottom, but I see this is a black bottom, and it's still, in the effect because of the contrasting colors of the red and the white. So
You hit it right on the head.
that was one of my questions that I was going to
Yep.
ask.
Yep. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I didn't mention it, I didn't say it, but here the visual balance that hits that too. Because it said the second bullet point says dark elements balanced by light areas.
Yeah, because I have a wood chopping block that I bought that I use, and I use that on the Moana cake I sent you. I used the chopping block with a black backdrop. So
that's it, girl. That's it. Excited talking about this stuff, but yeah,
I just be winging it, y'all. I tell you, I just wing.
It's true. It's true, right? So it's I'm glad you pointed that out. It is a dark surface that I'm using, and I have a student, Tara's Cakes Face or something like that. Her business was named after her daughter, because her daughter has like what's the two my mind's What's the word for I'm looking for? Oh gosh, I hate, huh? No. She's brown skinned, but she has the white patches.
Oh,
Oh, vitiligo.
There you go.
Lego.
Thank you. And
Mhm.
so she named her business after her daughter. But I don't care what, and she specializes in tiered cakes. I don't care what type of cake she's taking. She's always using black backdrop and a black table surface. And it just makes everything pop. That's her style. And I love it. I
Mhm.
love that for her. And it's just like this one, that black just brings all of those
Mhm.
colors look really rich.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So that's a style, right? Yep. So there is no right or wrong way. You just got to figure out what you like and what works for your business. All right. So here's a flat lay. Flat lay is perfect for showing the product in context. So it takes pictures of everything from the top view. It allows you to incorporate more props into the scene. This is perfect for social media. A lot of like companies that sell like t-shirts and tennis shoes and jewelry and sugar cookies. A lot of people use flat lay. Flat lay is definitely for our baking world. It's perfect for pound cakes, sugar cookies, chocolate chip Oreos, chocolate covered strawberries, those that do pretzel rods. So this technique is very versatile for a lot of things. Anything that you have a intricate design on top that you want to showcase, go for flat lay. And what I like to, well, we're gonna talk about that. I'm not gonna jump ahead, but on this photo, I'm using a sheet pan backdrop and this little napkin, this black and white napkin I got from Walmart for like $1.98. These little measuring cups I got from the Hobby Lobby home section. Now they have the home section. I want to say I paid $3 for these. And this whisk I think came from Michael's Craft Store, if I'm not mistaken, on clearance. And then this cooling rack I've already had in the kitchen. I just brought it out and took a picture, but the cake's still cooling, and that was it. Not expensive at all.
So the bottom thing, that is a sheet pan.
It is a backdrop called sheet pan.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay.
Because I was about to break out a sheet pan.
Now you can, if you have a worn, those old school worn.
because I was about to say that's like a pretty well used sheet pan.
If you have one that could cover the perimeter of the
Mhm.
use it.
Yeah, because
Okay.
it looks nice and rustic, you know?
Yeah.
Yes, and I fell in love with this because it tells me, it's on a baking sheet that just came out of the oven.
Mhm.
Now, if I really wanted to spruce this image up, I could have added some flour, maybe in this one, and some sugar in this one. I could have done a lot of things here. I could have put a cutting knife, a serving, one of those serving cutter knives.
Serving knife.
I mean, you could really, really do a lot of things with this.
I have this pan. I love this pan.
Yeah, you got to use it.
Yeah, well, it's one of my favorite pans. This one and the Brilliance.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I love them.
The Nordic red, right?
I must have every Nordic pan. It's just ridiculous. I'm trying to, one of my bucket list items is to go to the store, and I think if I do, I'm gonna have to ship stuff back. I just know me.
Yeah.
I love the bun pans.
All right, a different angle
Mm-hmm.
called the close-up detail. It showcases textures and the quality of the craftsmanship. This is best when you want to show, like I said, the beautiful details, the quality, smooth buttercream. Here I'm using textured buttercream in it. This is actually one of my fake cake as well. And it creates an emotion. So when I look at this, I'm like, oh, how cute! Like it, wow,
Right.
this
Yeah.
is something type of elegant event is happening. And that's it. And there's no additional props. It's literally just the cake. And I use the rule of thirds. I aligned the whole cake. I just put it on that left line.
Right.
Mm.
So everything else is outside of the frame. It's not even in the picture. I just literally took that left line and just got real close to it and took the picture. So
we actually get like really, really close to the cake.
You can get really close to the cake. Okay, so that's a good thing that you brought up. And if all possible, try not to use your zoom.
Okay, that's what I was
Okay.
about to ask. Can I zoom in?
Do not
So,
use
get- so get in.
Yeah, get in, or even you don't have to get so close. Just take the picture. When you're doing your editing is when you want to zoom in, because
Okay.
there's a difference between a digital zoom, meaning you're doing it on purpose, doing editing, or when you're taking the picture, as you're taking the picture and use the zoom,
It stretches the pixels.
there you go. Who said there? There you go. It stretches
Look
the pixels.
Look at Diane. All right.
Yep.
Diane dropping that dolly. Thank you, Diane.
Yes, and it's not clear. It's not as clear and sharp anymore. So if you're going to do zoom, get as close as you can to where it's still a sharp image, but do your zoom and cropping and editing.
Okay. I guess for me, I always get, nervous, because I'm afraid of the shadows, but when I buy my soft boxes.
Yep. Don't be afraid of shadows. And you'll notice as you start implementing some of these techniques, a lot of techniques are actually in this one image. You have the contrasting, because I'm using a dark backdrop. I like to pop. Then you have the up close, because I'm showing texture, and then I'm using a rule of thirds all at the same time.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of this stuff you're going to do automatically and not really know.
Realize.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell y'all last night when I was taking my pictures, I felt so professional. Y'all just don't even understand. I felt professional.
Gotta claim it.
I felt professional. I was like, that looks nice. Look at that. Like, girl, look at that reflection.
I'm claiming it for you. Yes, I love it. All right. So let's see. Another angle. This is a flat. Here we go again. We have a lot of different angles in one. Here we're using flat lay, but this time we're telling like a lifestyle. And so this tells me that we're at some type of gathering and somebody just cut the cake. Down here, somebody actually started
eating the cake.
Yep. So your image, like you can do very subtle things, but it's going to draw the viewer's eye and tell a story. So this tells me, wow, I have a cake. Somebody started eating it, or they served this. They sliced the cake. Now they just put the cake out so people can come and grab and go. All types of stuff can be seen. And notice how they're staging these little straws.
And macaroons around.
Macaroons around. Everything is to me pointing to the center cake, but I also see what's going on the sides. This straw is pointing towards the cake. So we have that leading lines thing. Everything is pretty much pointing towards the center cake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looking at this image as a, I hate to say regular, but you're like, okay, that's a cute picture. But this picture is actually telling a story. It's actually saying a lot. It's saying a lot if you really recognize it or not. And these are the type of images that attracts people.
Yeah. Because that would make me stop and be like, oh.
Yeah, let me look at that and see what's in there.
Yeah. All right. And last but not least, I teach on this technique. I live by it because it gives me the biggest bang for my buck, and it is called building the scene. What this technique is, you have your product, and I want to capture images of this product, but I want to think smart because I want to capture as many images as I can for marketing and for my website. And just so I can have different things to show on my website, on my social media, on my flyers, or whatever the case is. So it's called build the scene. When you're taking photos, what I like to do first is just start off with the product. Nothing else, no props, no, and actually should have chosen my other picture, but I have another picture where the cupcake, it was just the cupcakes. There were no Oreos on the scene at all. It was just the cupcakes. So I took pictures, got all the pictures that I wanted, and then I added the next item. So I'm building onto this. So I start off plain Jane, because there's, like I said, you don't have to incorporate props at all. A beautiful picture can be taken with just the item itself. So I got that image, just the item itself, and then I started to add Oreos onto the scene. That picture. Then I started to crumble some of the Oreo cookies. Took that picture. So that's 3 pictures. Let me see. Plain Oreo. So that's 3 pictures. Then what I did, I don't show them here. But then what I did is I put, I have many cake stands. So I put each of these cupcakes on a cake stand. That's 4 pictures. Then I have a tall cake stand. I left this one on the bottom, and I put the rest of them on a taller cake cupcake.
Cake stand.
That's 5 images. And then I took this one and put that one on the tall cake stand. That's 6 pictures. So,
Mhm.
and then after that, I think I took this blue backdrop. This is actually like a navy blue, and I replaced it with the white. That was 7 pictures. So as I am taking pictures, I think, is this the final product that the client will get? If it is, what are the steps that I can take to get me multiple images?
Mhm.
Now, let me see, is this next page? No, okay. So what I like to do is when I am taking photos, to keep me from spending a lot of time capturing images, I think about the product. For example, this is Oreo, but I'm going to use an example that I use all the time, which is red velvet cake. Red velvet cake. If I want to capture a series of images of my product, this is the time I was baking, but I made sure that it was a weekend that I didn't have any orders because I really wanted to focus on my marketing and my material, my photos. So I picked a weekend where I didn't have anything booked. I took time. On one day I baked, the next day I frosted, the cupcakes, and then I put them in the refrigerator because I knew they were going to be out for a while. Then I gathered, all the props that I wanted, and I did this strategically because red velvet cake was what I sold for Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, 4th of July, because I did red, white, and blue. Red cupcake, white buttercream, blueberry on top.
Mm.
I did these for Christmas. So that was, Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, 4th of July, Christmas. So 4 different events. I have a 24. I used my 24 cupcake pan. I made 24 cupcakes. And for each of those events, I had all of the props. So I had my Mother's Day topper. I just had like a little stick that says Mother's Day. And I took that picture. Then I had my other props for Valentine's Day, which you saw. I just staged all of those pictures and took those.
Okay.
And this was all in one setting, even in the course of 2 days too. If I got tired, I stopped and came back to it, but at least I knew my cupcakes were already ready to go for me to take pictures. Then on 4th of July, I did the red, white, and blue. And then for Christmas, I had some old Christmas toppers from the previous year. I just staged those, and those were my 4 holiday cupcakes taken in one session. So that when those holidays came up, and I knew for sure red velvet was my most popular for those
Event.
events, I just already had the images ready to go. But that's like really planning it out. You have to be intentional with that process. So let's see, any questions with that?
Yeah, if you do multiple like these, okay, so this is 2, you said you did like, let's say 4 or 5 of the same, different staging. Would you put all of those on your website, or would you just pick one to choose to put on the website?
I will pick one and just like the best one.
Okay.
Yep. I would choose one, and it will be the one. Yeah, it would be the best one. It would be the one that
Has the most.
Yep. That will the most attractive one. I put it that way. The one that say, wow, what is that? Actually, it's good. Like it helps paint the story. It helps tell the story.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
All right. We're almost at the end. So for your homework on day 2, we already asked what questions did you have with composition and angles. Again, do not feel overwhelmed. Take your time. But what I want you to do is
It
this
is.
time only focus on the composition and angles. Don't worry about the lighting on this part.
Okay.
Now, if you wanted to get fancy, sure, incorporate the lighting. Okay. But this time I would just want you to get used to the angle technique,
Okay.
angle and composition techniques. Now, if you want to combine what you've learned yesterday with the lighting and some of the angles and tech and composition, then by all means do so. But it's not, you don't have to. But like we did yesterday, I just wanted you to get a feel for the lighting. And like for tonight, I just want you to get a feel for the angles and composition. And you can pick one angle and one composition and roll with it, or you can try them all if you want. It's up to you.
Okay.
Okay. And then of
Sounds
course you
good.
can email them to me or text it to me.
Okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. I'm gonna do a demo. I think the demo is next. Let's see. Yep, demo's next. So demo's coming up. So I'm gonna stand up and just demonstrate some of these angles and composition. But before I do that, is there anything that was confusing today? Too much information? Should I have broken this session up into one day composition and another day angles? Was it just information overload? Give me your feedback. How did you feel about today's?
So good. It made me think a lot.
Okay.
I think it was perfect that we learned both of them in this case they kind of intermingle. So I
Yeah.
think it's perfect that we learned both of those styles at the same time.
Okay.
Mhm.
I think it was a good balance of helping us understand, the types of elements that we can incorporate as far as the composition is concerned, and then how we can take those elements and put as part of our angle and helping us
Right.
stage our products better. So I think the two at the same time, getting that knowledge instead of like, oh, well, we just did composition and then we're out there, we're trying to do something, but we know when we get the composition and how we can angle and we can practice and play with that. And so the next time we meet, like you said, with the homework tonight, just focus on doing that and not so much the lighting. But if you want to add it, that's fine. But just focus on what pieces do you already have around that you can use to, make your product like pop.
Popcorn. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Mhm.
Because like I said, I'm feeling my way through this. I'm putting these things together, what I think should go together in sequential order, but I don't want it to overwhelm you to where you're like, okay, it's just too much. I'm not gonna try none of it. That I don't want, because I want you to see the transformation that you can do it. It is doable. But just knowing how and knowing what you're doing is most important, is the key.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited to take some pictures.
Okay, good. and what I forgot to mention, I did download yesterday's session. I put it on YouTube as unsolicited, so it's only you all will see. I'm going to send you the link directly to it.
Okay.
Not published, but it's published, but it's private, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So
Okay.
I'm also going to do the same thing for this session. When this is done and it gives me the file, I'll upload it, and then provide you all the link to that.
Okay.
All right.
See, for
Okay.
me, I'm probably going to take my products to work. Because that way, I can use natural light. I can
Oh.
practice in natural light, but still stage it, because there's a big conference room table. So
Oh.
I can use that as part of my staging and stuff like that. So we'll
Like,
see
hey,
how it works.
give me some cake.
Yeah, no. Be like, no, this is my class cake. No.
So this is my homework.
This is
Yeah.
right. This is homework, people. This is not edible.
Right. My cakes are old cakes that I had
Yeah.
in the fridge. So
Yep.
these are not edible cakes.
Right.
Yep. No
Well,
wrong
see,
with
I have my nephew staying with me for the summer, so I have to hide the muffins because
Oh.
he'll be like, "Oh, midnight snack." So I'm gonna hide them, and I'm gonna
Like-
stage, for
Like
the whole
Lanice
week.
has the cranberry muffins in the bed with her, just holding on for dear, just hiding them.
I'm gonna have to hide them so that he doesn't see them.
Yep. All right. So tomorrow we're going to dive into styling and props. Kind of seen a little bit from today, but I do plan on coming with more that will help some prop options that you can incorporate or thinking about incorporating for your desserts. So we'll do that tomorrow. And then we will on Thursday, we will combine everything together and take a picture, because on Thursday we're going to go over some editing in the Lightroom app.
Okay.
Right. And then if
All
we
right.
need an additional day on Friday for like Q&A or just, wrap up, then I can schedule some time on Friday for that. All right. So this picture I took was actually using backlight. And I actually used the backlight from my softbox. So I had my softbox on and I put the softbox behind the cupcakes on this picture. Yep. And it's beautiful. Looks like natural light.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Are,
So
are those coasters?
they are paper coasters. Yep.
Oh,
So instead of using cupcake stands, I just use coasters. And I'll bring some of those out tomorrow. I have all types of coasters because it as you can see, this picture is not doing a lot. There's some flowers because I'm incorporating the flowers with the pink, but leaves and coasters. That's it. Just three props.
But see, the coasters look like plates.
Yeah.
right.
know,
Because I thought it was
everything
like,
just matches.
yeah, I thought they were acrylic. But she
Yeah,
says
because I
that-
have some plates similar to that. So I was like,
Okay.
oh, she has the same plates. But see, so I mean,
it's not a lot of stuff,
nice,
but everything just comes
inexpensive way.
together.
Yeah,
It
and you're
does.
showing us a
It
nice
does.
inexpensive way to just, elevate our products.
Yeah.
And see, when I see this, I look at this and I see bridal
Expensive.
shower, I see brunch.
Yes.
That's what I
Yes.
see when I look at this photo.
Yes.
That's
I
exactly
mean that, but that's what you think of, because you have cupcakes at brunch, you have these at
Mhm.
bridal showers. The table is nice, so that's what I see when I see this picture.
And
right
I also see tea party.
here. Tea party,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
To take that a
Yeah.
step further. Imagine if I had this image as is, but then there's a little bit of negative space down here. And there's a technique in Canva where you can do like a fade. Like it fades into
Mm-hmm.
the fade at the bottom, like faded, like a black fade, but it's very faint. And I can put, "Are you ready to order for your bridal shower?" or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Right at the
Okay.
bottom.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So you can really get creative with these images. Like I said, it is a little negative. It's not a lot, but it's just a little
No.
negative space down here. And it's enough for me to add some text if I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And let's see.
Yeah, I like this. Now, would this be considered a 45 degree?
Yes, it is. You got it. Because we the wrapper, but we also look at the top. Yeah.
I'm trying, yeah.
You got it. That's it.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I have one more screen after this. Okay. So I'm going to do a demonstration of the composition that we've learned and also some of the angles. Now, this particular product, I actually use Chips Ahoy cookies straight out the package.
Okay, because I was like, is this edible cookie dough?
Chips Ahoy cookies, and I just sprinkled chocolate chips all around.
Okay.
Now that I'm looking at this picture, I probably should have put some here.
Oh.
One will probably notice that, but because I notice stuff like that, I'm like, "Talk, I should have put some here." But what I can do is actually edit some chocolate chips here.
Yeah.
So I can do that as well. But yeah, and it's a very simple image. If I was selling cookies, chocolate chip cookies, it stays. I love staging cookies stacked. And the angle is it's a lot going on. I have the 90-degree angle.
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely see the texture of the cookies, even though they're store-bought, but you can see the texture of the cookies. Now I could have put something else here, but because I have the chocolate chip cookies spread all over the seam, it's not really necessary for me to put a balance here because everything is balanced with all the chocolate chip cookies being all over the scene.
And the milk in the background is just perfect.
Yeah, yep. The milk in the
Oh.
background with the straw.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. All right, let's see.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
All right, demo. Okay. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to my phone. Let's see.
We're gonna be professionals, ladies.
Yes.
Yes.
Right, fingers crossed, right?
Yes.
Y'all got it. Y'all are. There we go. Okay. Good. All right. Let me get up and move this stuff. I'm gonna be moving, so sorry, guys. Let me grab my extra phone. Uh-oh. Okay, I hope you all can still see me because I'm not by my computer anymore.
We can see you.
Now, I do have my overhead lights, but this time we're not talking about lighting. So we're just talking about the composition. So I'm going to leave my light on. All right, so the first thing we are going to talk about is, I do have to bring it. Okay, we're going to talk about so the first thing we're going to talk about is the, wait, is this too high? I'm trying to make sure I got this. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the is the rule of thirds. Okay. Sure. You don't see what I'm saying? What's up? You don't see me?
Mm-hmm. See you.
And you can see this see this thing here.
Yep.
Yep.
As long as you all can see it, it looks weird on my end. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is the rule of thirds. And remember with the rule of thirds, we want everything, since we're doing cupcakes, we want to make sure that we're shooting in odd numbers. So I still have the 3 here. And all right, let's see if I could have y'all. Let me actually I got some better angle. There we go. Okay. All right. So remember with the rule of thirds, we have the grid lines.
Right.
And what I like to do is typically, let me go this down some more. All right, so there we go. So typically, we're used to shooting everything right in the center. Okay, but with the rule of thirds, you can create interest by just moving it over just a little bit. Not sure if you all can still see that line, but here's the line here. And the left line is directly over this front cupcake. Or we could do it over here. Now that line is directly over the right, now the cupcake is over the right line. And what this creates is not only we're doing a different composition, I can still see all 3 cupcakes. And if I really took this picture, I have this negative space over here that is going to allow me to add some text if I wanted to. Now there's nothing wrong with leaving it dead in the center, because now I can just put the center right on this bottom horizontal line.
Okay.
Get my center shot that way. All right. Let me try to demonstrate what I was talking about with that cricket line. Let me add this here. Now, remember when I was talking about the cricket line? Okay. I was talking about the cricket line. I'm just gonna move these out the way. This is the line that I was referring to. This line right back here is where the backdrop meets the table.
Oh, okay.
All right, now sometimes when we're taking a picture, we have a tendency to do this. A lot of people take the picture cricket, just like that. And if I had, let me go ahead and put the cupcake there. If I had that, and if I take the pictures just like that, it's going to capture exactly what it just took. And that looks cricket because it is. And
Mm-hmm.
I go back and you're going to see the rule of thirds. Remember that horizontal line I was telling you about?
Mm-hmm.
This horizontal line is always straight.
Mm.
But because my picture is cricket, this line, this thing back here, it's going to come out cricket because of how I'm holding the phone. But with the rule of thirds, if I just literally just straighten up my camera, and I can actually move that line, that horizontal line, to the bottom, where it meets the bottom, and now I see that, okay, great, my picture is straight. So long as I hold my camera this way and not this way or this way, then I can guarantee that that horizontal line in the back for my backdrop will always be straight. And if it's not straight, I can always straighten it when I'm editing the picture. But I see this a lot. I see a lot of people do this. And it's cute, but what they're not realizing is, say for example, if I go now and edit this real quick, I'm going to get rid of the outside parts. I just edit this real quick, and all I did was crop it. That looks crazy. And so that makes the viewer have to do this to actually see your image.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the photos is off. And I see this a whole lot. So we don't want to do that. So that's another reason why this guide is perfect. It allows you to see, a perfect example too is if you had a backdrop that had like a brick, the brick backdrop, you want brick lines to appear straight as well. You don't want those brick lines to appear lopsided. And it's literally just the matter of holding your phone the correct way. All right. And then, of course, as we talked about with the 90-degree angle, it's just straight on shot, just like that. 45-degree angle, we would just have to just hold our camera at an angle, just like that. So 90-degree is straight on. 45 is just angle it just up just a little bit. And you can still use the rule of thirds on that just by moving your camera or moving the lines to one of the cupcakes. Okay. And then what was the other one? Oh yeah, and then if I wanted to fill the frame on this one, I would have to I could probably do it with that.
Okay, so this is to fill the frame.
Well, I was trying to, but it's
Okay.
I would have to have more. I would have to have more cupcakes in the scene.
Okay.
Maybe if I had like maybe 4 or 5 more, then I could probably pull it off.
Okay.
The other technique was the line. So say for example, if I had this cake, and I had these sprinkles, for example. Hold on. So if I had this cake, and let's say the cake was on a cake stand or something, but I could just do like a trail of sprinkles going towards the cake.
Yeah, I just want to clean that up.
Yeah. out a little bit, but then I can just, I'm doing a 90-degree angle
Mhm.
and getting that. Oh, the sprinkle containers in the back is in the backdrop. But the trail of sprinkles is leading towards the cake.
Okay.
Or you can even just spread them evenly. And this, I like doing this when I have like it's cute when it's just like this without a cake stand, but sometimes I like adding a cake stand as well.
Mhm.
Have to, and I keep a container of sprinkles around because 9 times out of 10, what I'm going to do is just scrape them right back in here because these are just for prop.
See, I be done scrape them in the garbage. Like,
Yeah.
No,
it's just me. I'm like, okay, I'm done. Put it in the trash can.
Oh, that's I do. Let's see, for flat lay. Let's see, I don't have, do I have anything for flat lay? Let me see. Do these. Breaking them. Macro, that's no good. We have some macro.
for sure, you gotta save those sprinkles. That's money you throwing away.
Right? I see like those macaroons, I would get those on the cheap at Home Goods.
Yep, that's
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
So the thing with flat lay is that you want to get a good leverage to the surface. So if I don't have a low enough surface in order to get directly on top
Mm.
of this cake stand, this set,
Mhm.
I use a footstool.
Okay.
The footstool that I have, I literally stand on top of it and get right above it. Not sure. But I get right above it and make sure your camera is flat along with the surface and just take the picture. I'm gonna do that again. And here's the image. Now, keep in mind, I have my lights on. So now as you can see, I have the orange tint here. And then over here, we have more of a natural white light. I have my recessed light on. And then you can even see the recessed light here.
Mhm.
So let's see.
Awesome.
Turn it off and maybe get this.
So Monique, with you using the replica table, that bar stays in the front of you, because I have mine in the back. So I have it backwards.
It's no preference. It's however you want. I like to use it so I can grab it and push it and pull it and turn it.
Okay. I think I'm gonna do what you just did and turn it around.
Yep, that's it. Let's see. Did we cover all of the composition?
Okay, that's what it is.
Trying to think, is there anything else we need to cover? I think that's it for that.
Okay.
All right, ladies. So
We
it's
covered-
good because now
Yeah.
I've seen the time frame is taken too. I originally said, oh, it should take an hour. But when you're teaching and people got questions, you're trying to explain stuff and things pop in your head as so this is good. It allows me to see I need to factor in for time. Okay.
No, it's a lot of great information.
It is. It is.
I'm glad to hear that. All right, ladies. Well, if you have the chance, go ahead and practice some of the angles and composition.
Okay.
Not, you have the weekend to do it. You can always email and text me. You guys are my golden chosen ones. Everybody else not gonna get this type of treatment. You'll get the same type of teaching, but not the same type of
Interactions.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah,
Cool.
this This is our new little family. I'm gonna follow you guys on
I know,
Insta.
right? Well, on
Yes.
on Instagram, I'm the Sweet Shack. So
Yeah, I see both of you have your name there, so I just followed you.
Okay.
cool.
Ladies will
Yeah.
be prepared tomorrow to do some props.
Okay.
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 Ooh, I'm gonna go dig in my bag, my ragamuffin, whatever.
Be ready for them.
I
did.
took some cake stands out today, so I will take
Yeah, I
some.
took the
more
cake
stuff.
stands out, but I got to get all the other prop stuff. And then, like I said, I got a bunch of stuff that I just threw because I'm trying to arrange my garage, but I just threw it in a container. So I'll pull some stuff out, see what I got.
Yep.
Can't wait.
Okay,
Awesome.
excited to do this.
I might do 4th of July. I think because I already have those cupcakes out, and I'm gonna just pull out some props for 4th of July.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, ladies.
Sounds good.
Thank you, ladies.
Bye.
See y'all
Thank you.
tomorrow.
All right.
See you tomorrow.
Good night, ladies.